Welcome to New Delhi. Join me in welcoming ICN new 2018 work product. Each year, through carefully crafted plans, experience sharing and interactive discussion, ICN working groups produce many new work products across a range of competition law topics. Work product is central to the ICN's mission and success. Dozens of member agencies and non-governmental advisors around the world have shared their expertise, views and experiences to inform this work. The consensus wisdom embodied in the ICN's work is an invaluable resource to its members and the competition community. Competition Commission of India is proud to associate this week's discussion in New Delhi with the tradition of unveiling new ICN's work product. What we are about to see are short video segments from across ICN's working groups, introducing their output for 2018 and highlighting the impact it can have on its members. Here is ICN's 2018 new work product launch.
Welcome from ICN Virtual Studios. This is special coverage of ICN's 2018 new work product launch. Convergence. It was a primary motivator for the ICN's creation, and it sustains ICN operations today. Nowhere is this more evident than in ICN's annual work product creation. Dozens of agencies and non-governmental advisors come together to pool their experiences, identify superior practices, and address common needs through practical work and recommendations that aim to improve agency performance. Over the years, ICN output has covered the full range of competition law and policy topics. ICN's 2018 achievements add to this rich legacy of work product. Let's celebrate this year's work, starting with highlights from competition advocacy and the effective operation of an agency. The ICN's Advocacy Working Group is tailor-made for experience sharing. Perhaps no other area of work has served to share and inspire more ideas between member agencies. This year, the working group advanced its project on advocacy strategy and drafted a report on planning and evaluating advocacy efforts. Also, the working group completed a significant update and expansion of its unique online market studies information store, the best resource for hundreds of studies from around the world. The Agency Effectiveness Working Group addresses agency operations and strategy. This year, the group produced groundbreaking new recommendations on due process with a three-part work product covering guiding principles for procedural fairness, internal agency practices that support effective decision-making, and implementation tips for interested agencies. The AEWG is also home to the only ICN group dedicated exclusively to economists and their work. Let's hear more about the Advocacy and Agency Effectiveness Working Groups.
We're delighted to introduce the Advocacy Working Group's work product over the last year. Let's start with the Market Studies Information Store. The Information Store is the ICN's database of market studies carried out by member agencies. It aims to facilitate the sharing of knowledge and best practices on market studies. Over the last year alone, we have added over 100 new market studies to the Information Store. And in total, the store contains details of over 700 market studies carried out by 45 member agencies spanning over 12 years. Alongside the existing Market Studies Handbook and the guiding principles, the Advocacy Working Group has produced a comprehensive set of resources on market studies. Now let's hand over to Mexico City and our co-chairs at COFECE.
Thank you very much. Another product that we developed is the second stage of the strategy project. As you might recall, this project seeks to enhance dialogue and share knowledge between competition agencies and non-governmental advisors on how agencies can better produce, design and monitor and assess their competition efforts and actions. In this stage, we focus particularly on the evaluating and monitoring process. In order to do this, we launched a survey by which we received 27 responses from across the globe. By analyzing this, we identified trends and some methods and tools that can be replicated in other jurisdictions. So please join us for the third and final stage of this project, by which we will develop a general framework and guiding principles on how competition agencies can better develop, design, implement, monitor, and assess their competition advocacy actions. So let's hear from our colleagues from the Competition Commission of Singapore.
The AWG embarked on the project to review and improve the working group's web-based tools. This is in line with the ICN website revamp. In particular, all past and current AWG work, resources and projects have been integrated and reorganized in a clearer and more user-friendly manner, which will allow you easier access to the work products. In addition, we are happy to collaborate with the World Bank again to bring you the ICN World Bank Competition Advocacy Contest. This year, 40 advocacy success stories were received from 30 jurisdictions. On behalf of the AWG co-chairs, I want to thank all who have contributed to the AWG's work products over the last year. We look forward to bringing you more work products to facilitate advocacy work on competition in the coming year.
Hello, my name is John Peckman. I'm here at the Canadian Competition Bureau to introduce the ICN Agency Effectiveness Working Group. I'm joined by one of my top economists, Laura Sonley, and one of our top lawyers, Dewey Pham, to show that the products are available for everyone. So Laura, let's start with you. Why don't you begin?
As you know, the Agency Effectiveness Working Group is the only working group that has a focus on economics. For example, this year, we hosted a seminar which looked at the role of merger simulations.
Interesting. Dewey, what do you think?
She lost me at simulation. Was this a simulated real hypothetical, or was this a hypothetical real simulation?
Okay, let's set that aside for now, okay, Dewey? What Agency Effectiveness Working Group products would you like to highlight?
The Agency Effectiveness Working Group has been at the forefront of providing international guidance to competition agencies on legal processes and procedures for investigations and legal proceedings. The guidance on investigative process discusses the importance of transparency, predictability, engagement, and accountability.
Wait, Laura, look, hang on, guys. We're a team here. And like any good hockey team, for example, you have to rely on the fundamentals, stick handling, precision skating, playmaking with that vision, creative vision, and of course, reliance on the team. Just like competition law, we have to work as a team. You know, we rely on the economic analysis. It's got to be rigorous. We have to look at sound and balanced legal processes as well, and analysis. So, come on, we can do this as a team. What do you have to say to that?
Great advice, Commissioner. It's too bad the Leafs can't play as a team. Did you see the game last night?
Yeah, quite the barn burner.
Did Nigel put you guys up to this? Let's just show the people the great work of the Agency Effectiveness Working Group.
We'll be right back after this message.
Hello, competition friends. You may remember me from last year's promo. Let's take a look. The ITOD offers over 20 video modules on a full range of competition law topics. We've got mergers. We've got cartels. We've got unilateral conduct, advocacy, and even agency effectiveness. Act now, and we'll even throw in role plays and practical tips at no added cost. Yes, I'm back, and here to tell you about a bigger, better, and improved ICN training on demand. It's the same great competition law learning, now with more modules, more translations, and soon to be housed with more user-friendly access on ICN's new website. Friends, if you're like me, you know that the most viewed videos on YouTube are from a mix of global pop music superstars like Bieber, Psy, Swift, Sheeran, Riri, who by the way is my jam, and Beyonce. And if you're like me, you're probably looking for something new. With ICN's training on demand, you can listen to the ultimate mix of global antitrust superstars whenever you want, right from your desk, or yes, even your phone. Today's enforcement environment calls for global insights and easily accessible training. Friends, ITOT has you covered. Act now. We can't make it any easier. But wait, there's more. To all you experienced agency officials, practitioners, and academics, maybe your global pop music dreams never materialized, or maybe they're just around the corner. But ITOT values your competition expertise today. If you're interested in trying out this side of the camera and sharing your wisdom with the network, please let your friendly ITOT coordinators know. We welcome a diverse, dynamic, and distinguished virtual faculty. Act now. And friends, remember, global competition law training isn't available in stores. But with ICN's Training on Demand online library, ICN expertise is just a click away.
Cartels, mergers, and unilateral conduct. Three familiar pillars of competition enforcement around the world, and indeed the focus of the three working groups that are the foundation of ICN's enforcement-related work. This year, the Merger Working Group revised portions of ICN's most prominent and influential work, its merger recommended practices, closing the deal on new recommendations for enforcement cooperation, timing of notifications, and review periods. The MWG also tackled a new challenge this year, its first substantive look at vertical merger assessment across member agencies. You can find some of ICN's most innovative and timely work happening in the Unilateral Conduct Working Group and its ongoing study of how agencies address vertical restraints. Finally, for work that addresses the most egregious competition law violations, the Cartel Working Group is in the midst of a comprehensive review and update of its extensive advice on leniency programs and also working on the topic of private enforcement. Let's take a closer look at reports from ICN's enforcement working groups.
This year, the CMA has worked with the ICN Mergers Working Group to undertake a special project looking at vertical mergers. This project has included a short think piece put together by the UK NGAs exploring themes around vertical mergers relating to the key theories of harm and efficiencies, followed by a survey of the ICN members asking agencies how they consider vertical mergers, some of their more recent cases, and looking at how they consider both remedies and efficiencies in vertical mergers. Following this survey, the CMA has put together a short report looking at some of the key statistics and in particular highlighting over a dozen case studies from different jurisdictions around the world with different agency sizes, different tests and different considerations, just to pull out some of the key areas of vertical mergers which are being looked at by different jurisdictions. Next year, the ICN Merger Working Group will build on this special project to consider whether there is any guidance or written material that we can pull together from different agencies around vertical mergers which will help across members in the future.
Dear ICN colleagues, the Merger Working Group issued the first recommended practices ever produced by the ICN some 15 years ago. These recommended practices for notification and review procedures have just been revised. We decided to streamline the text because now many jurisdictions have become familiar with merger control. We also decided to change some of the language. What we tried to do was to strike the right balance between making the review process effective, but still taking into account the business constraints of the parties, for instance, what is related to timeframes. We underscored the need for legal certainty and predictability. We also updated the comments on several topics such as pre-notification, hostile transactions, or companies in financial distress. We had many lively discussions that involved many talented colleagues and NGAs around the world. Thank you to all of them for their efforts. Now please take a look at these freshly revised RPs. They are now yours to use. Thank you.
In 2017 and 2018, Merger Working Group held 3 teleseminars on innovation in merger review. We had over 200 participants in total from members and NGAs. Also, the 14th merger workshop was held in Mexico in December 2017. The workshop was attended by 125 participants from over 25 jurisdictions. Thank you, Confessor. And now it's our turn. The JFTC will host the 15th merger workshop on 7th and 8th November in Tokyo.
Save the date and see you in Tokyo.
G'day. On behalf of the Unilateral Conduct Working Group co-chairs, I'd like to thank our hosts from the Competition Commission of India for this wonderful opportunity to meet and discuss our work in tackling unilateral conduct. Perfect. 2017 was a very busy and highly successful year for the Unilateral Conduct Working Group. In November, we held our 7th workshop in Rome. The workshop provided an opportunity for 120 delegates from 42 jurisdictions to gather together to discuss, debate and generally get excited and passionate about the effectiveness of our tools and the theories of harm we grapple with when enforcing competition law in the digital era. It was an excellent workshop for which we thank our hosts at the Italian Competition Authority for both the exceptional organisation that went into the running of the workshop and the warmth with which they welcomed us to their agency. In Italian, it was un'esperienza indimenticabile. We're very much looking forward to our 2018 member workshop, which will be held in Stellenbosch in South Africa. We also held a series of very interesting webinars and teleseminars over the course of 2017 ICN year. We explored diverse topics such as big data and the implications it holds for competition policy, and the challenges faced by competition authorities when considering circumstances of excessive pricing. Our main work product in 2017 was the continuation of the multi-year vertical restraints project. This project commenced in 2016 and is expected to be completed in 2018. It seeks to promote greater understanding about the assessment of vertical restraints and, where possible, explore the possibility of greater convergence. In 2017, we formed a vertical restraints project group of member agencies and NGAs. This group has volunteered to analyse a series of hypothetical scenarios for their possible effect on competition and potential resulting efficiencies. We're very fortunate to have a project group that brings together a great diversity of views and approaches to these quite difficult issues. We don't expect to come up with a single answer on any of these issues, rather to stimulate debate and reach a greater understanding about our differences. Our first hypothetical is an online travel agent scenario considering the impact of cross-platform parity agreements. While this scenario bears some resemblance to matters considered by a number of ICN jurisdictions in recent times, there are key differences. Our report of this first hypothetical is progressing well and, as expected, has facilitated some passionate debate. Our second and third hypotheticals will consider an offline vertical restraint in the grocery retail market and an online selective distribution case. We look forward to continuing our close engagement with the members of the Unilateral Conduct Working Group in the development of the vertical restraints project. In 2018, we will be looking ahead to our next multi-year project, a new workbook chapter, a number of webinars and teleseminars, all with the objective of deepening our collective understanding of the differences and similarities in approaches to unilateral conduct. On behalf of the co-chairs of the Unilateral Conduct Working Group, I'd like to extend an invitation to all present here today to join us and be part of our future work program. Thank you very much.
The Cartel Working Group delivers a wide variety of products for the benefit of its members and the wider ICN community. The Anti-Cartel Enforcement Manual has chapters on leniency, inspections, digital evidence gathering, interviewing techniques, and more. Another product is anti-cartel enforcement templates, explaining the different anti-cartel enforcement systems. ICN Liaison is a network of agency officials for the exchange of non-confidential information. We are constantly helping and supporting each other. For this reason, we get together to discuss at yearly cartel workshops, and we regularly hold webinars at friendly times for both Asia Pacific and Europe, Africa, and the Americas regions on topical issues. Following a broad survey on leniency launched with a questionnaire during this ICN working year, the Subgroup 1 co-chairs led an international team that analyzed the replies from 33 agencies and 43 NGAs from 19 jurisdictions. Subgroup 1 put together a working group report to serve as a basis for discussion, aiming to adopt conclusions toward more efficient leniency programs in 2018-2019. At the same time, the Subgroup 2 co-chairs have been coordinating a drafting team composed of agencies and NGAs to deliver the new chapter of the Anti-Cartel Enforcement Manual on Private Enforcement in 2018-2019. In the new ICN working year, the Cartel Working Group will also hold webinars on digital cartels and algorithms, leniency incentives and disincentives, information sharing gateways, compliance, and cooperation with public procurement authorities. Find out more about our work plan, work products, and activities on the Cartel's ICN website and in the ICN newsletter.
Hello everyone, and a warm welcome to the ICN community here in Delhi. Personally, I'm very much looking forward to our conference, and I'm very grateful to the Competition Commission of India to host this wonderful event here in New Delhi. It's going to be a great event. We have the chance to discuss our work products, to evaluate them, and you have a chance to look into these work products and ask yourself, what is in there for me? What do I take home for me from these ICN work products? And if you look at them, you find a vast variety of projects and of topics. We have done work with regard to vertical mergers, we have looked into leniency, we have looked into market studies, into cooperation, innovation, a full range of topics, so there should be something that you can take home. Of course, there are not only the work products that we have to take a look at. We have a year behind us full of work and full of fantastic workshops. The echo from these workshops was great. We have held a lot of very valuable webinars, teleseminars, so I think we can really look back to a wonderful ICN year full of activities. My thanks, of course, go to those who have been involved in that. Because the ICN, I mean, it's a virtual organization, and in fact the ICN is people, is human beings who do work, who invest in ICN work products. So my thanks go to the co-chairs of the working groups, of course, to the members of the working groups, to our NGAs, to everyone who has been doing work back in his office, at home, with regard to the ICN. Here we have a chance to talk to each other face to face. I always say that the ICN annual conference is kind of the nucleus of the whole ICN, where we have the time to discuss once a year. And when you go home after this conference, don't forget that the ICN is providing the biggest encyclopedia of competition law worldwide. The work products of the ICN really matter. The World Bank makes use of it, UNCTAD makes use of it, and I know about a lot of organizations who do work in the area of competition law, that they take care of ICN work products, and that ICN work products are very often the means to facilitate the dissemination of competition law worldwide. So, ICN has an impact. You're not here for something, you are here to foster this impact of the ICN with regard to the implementation of its work products. So, I wish to all of us a wonderful time here in Delhi, which we will have, no doubt, and well, have a good time. Thanks a lot.
Hi, my name is Margarida Matos Rosa and I'm president of the Portuguese Competition Authority, Autoridade da Concorrência. Each year, ICN members and NGAs in the network's 5 working groups produce new recommendations, guidance, tips, advice, and reports across a range of competition law and policy topics. While ICN accomplishments are impressive, their volume can be a bit intimidating. Just this year, you have heard about new work on merger cooperation, competition advocacy strategy, online vertical restraints, due process, vertical mergers, and last but not least, the characteristics of leniency regimes. Along with the US FTC, we at the ADC co-chair the ICN's work product promotion and implementation initiatives. This means we carry out initiatives that aim to help members in finding and using ICN work product, providing assistance wherever necessary. Today, I would like to remind you of the value of ICN written work and just how accessible it can be. Over the course of 17 years, the ICN's accumulated treasure trove of work has touched upon nearly everything a competition agency does or addresses. ICN's work is produced by the competition community and for the competition community. This is based upon the best experiences of member agencies and non-governmental advisors around the world. It is a tremendous resource, one that we hope members turn to first when looking to benchmark practices or considering improvements. The idea behind ICN's work is to make best practices accessible to all competition agencies. If you are a new agency looking to use ICN work or a not-so-new agency looking for a refresher, please contact us at the ADC or our colleagues at the FTC for implementation questions or issues. We are available for agency-to-agency consultations to help introduce you to relevant ICN work, as well as support changes which converge towards ICN recommendations. Work product is central to the ICN's mission and success. It is the focal point for ICN participation. This is how the ICN as a virtual network connects to the practical needs of member agencies. We hope you are inspired by this year's work product presentation and share it throughout your agencies.
Thank you for joining today's special coverage of ICN's 2018 new work product launch. ICN annually delivers a diverse and informative set of new work, expanding its existing treasure trove of resources available online. ICN Work Product is created for competition agencies by competition agencies. It is the embodiment of the common needs of its members and the best hope for inspiring convergence in the day-to-day work of competition enforcement. We hope that these working group presentations have inspired you to reach for ICN's new work product and find ways to put it to work in your agency. And finally, keep in mind that you can help create ICN's work of tomorrow. Please contact working group chairs to get more involved in developing ICN's 2019 work product. Until then, thank you and enjoy the conference.